Hi, this is Eric Anderson. I'm here with Kyle Whitefeather. We're watching the final table of the Venue Champ Tournament. Every session, the top player from each of the 30 local venues in the MSPT Freeroll are invited to play for their chance to win a $250 MSPT qualifier seat. Here's Kamikaze Kyle with a rundown of your players.
In Seat 1, we have Damian Charnoski, who is the bar champ at the Bemidji American Legion on Saturday with 9.6K. Seat 2 is Jeffrey Willis from the Toasty Beavers in Bemidji with 3.8K. Clayton Slack in Seat 3 from Cass Lake Cadillac's Grow with 4.3K. Seat 4 is Gary Becker from Deer River's Gosh Damn Place, the Tuesday 7 o'clock session with 13.6K. Joel Akers coming from Crookston, IC Mugs, with 19.3K. We got Shiloh Lindell in Seat 6 from Lazy Jackson Bemidji sitting with 7K. Keith Abrahamson in Seat 7 from Warren American Legion with 13.7K. Mark Anderson's in Seat 8 from Bemidji, the American Legion Tuesday session with 14.2K. And Seat 9 is Kevin Leiser from Fertile Erickson Smokehouse with 6.9K. And finally, in Seat 10, we have Paul Shanhar from Deer River's Gosh Damn Place Tuesday noon session with 8.1K.
And if you're interested in finding out more, check us out at www.msptfreeroll.com. We are right now in week 4 of a 10-week session, and the players that qualify at the end of the session, the top 30% from each venue advance to the regional tournament. We'll get about 60-70 players at the regional tournament, and the top 10% will advance to the state tournament. Now this session, we're playing at the Northern Lights. We're playing the $5,000 guaranteed tournament. That's a bounty tournament. So every player you take out, you'll get $10 on the spot. And we're gonna have at least 50 players in that tournament. $120 buy-in. $100 goes to the prize pool. $10 goes to the bounty, and $10 goes to the house. 50 of these players are gonna win their way in. And if you want to play, just be at the Northern Lights on June 21st at noon, and anybody can jump into this. Now getting back to the action at hand, we've got Shyla with pocket sixes raising to 600 in the seat 6. That's a whole lot of sixes. Folds around to Jeff Willis in the 2 seat with a king-queen suited, who immediately gives up. He's on the button and he tries to check. Shyla bets, and he gives it up. Now these two play about 3 or 4 nights a week with each other, so he knows he's behind. He knows she's never bluffing. I've got the microphone shut off right now so we can't hear what they're saying, but I think Keith just made a joke about it, and Shyla thought it was very funny. And she picks up the pot. Now for those of you who have never seen this action before, we're watching an RFID table. RFID is radio frequency identification. The cards have a chip in them, and the table has antennas in it. Under every number is an antenna that reads what the card is and transmits it over to a computer. You can see me in the background. I'm on the computer manually typing in the bet sizes so you can follow along with the action. I can't see the cards while I'm doing this. But it superimposes it on the computer so you can watch it at home, and makes the game way more interesting.
Everybody's folding around.
A whole lot of nothing.
And limp.
Limps around to Gary Becker, who raises to 700 with an ace 4 in the small blind.
With the third best hand at the table.
Yeah.
He gets one caller from Joel.
They haven't told me what happens yet. Joel actually raises to 1.4K, and everybody folds around. See, I'm sitting in the background waiting for the dealer to tell me what the action is, and he didn't tell me at that point, so it was a little bit delayed. But we got a junk flop, and it goes check, check.
Jack
Joel
comes,
hits his jack and wakes up.
giving him the dominant hand.
And Gary gets away from it, which was pretty easy.
Well, you have a double gut shot there, basically. I mean, the same outs.
As an open-ender.
Yeah, as an open-ender. I might have given it a call and see what happened on the river, but that's me.
There's always a river. If it wasn't for the river, there'd be no fish. We've got Joe Knops from Foston dealing for us. This is a free bar tournament, so we don't have paid dealers or paid tournament directors or anything else. They come in, play for free, win a prize, and he volunteered to deal for us because his wife was actually bar champ in 3 locations, both venues in Foston and in Langby. She bar champed all 3 of those venues, but she got knocked out short of the final table today, and he volunteered to deal for us.
And speaking of the tournament directors, you also they play a separate tournament as well, correct?
Yeah, we what you play for is called a tech. It's a tournament entry certificate, which will get you into the state tournament, and you can win a tech by being the top 10% in a regional tournament, or we have special tournaments. A heads up tournament we had before, a 6 max tournament we had at the same time this was running. We also offered a 6 max tournament that Shyla's son Mike Lindell actually won. He's in the background there finishing up that tournament. I think they're down to like 1 table back there. And then we have a tournament director tournament where the winner gets a tech. We have a multi-venue tournament. If you qualify for more than 1 venue, you can win a tech. And then we have the venue champ tournament that we're playing right now, where you can win a tech. Actually, second place will win a tournament entry certificate into the Walker tournament on June 21st. First place will win a $250 qualifier seat. Now there's a big hand going on right now. We got Pocket Kings against Ace 10. Kevin called awfully quickly pre-flop with a 3-bet from Gary.
And now he's stuck in a decision for all his chips because he checked.
Yeah, statistically he's a favorite, and he has to know he's got nut draw outs, but that's the rest of his stack on a draw.
Missed the 4 of hearts one time.
Yeah, he's got the straight flush out, the nut flush outs, the straight outs, and overcard. You know, he's got a lot of outs to play with, but is it worth his tournament life? And they're on break right now. Everybody else left. You can see in the back right corner the tournament clock is red. That means they're on break. And he decides it is worth his tournament life. Gary shows him the bad news. He flips up his draw. And Joe
rails it.
No waiting. And there it is. And Keith's in the background mad that he folded his 2 hearts because he would have, if we were playing What If, Keith would have won. And we're on break now. All right, we're back from break, and here are your chip counts with Joel Aker up at top with 16.7 thousand and Jeff Willis down at the bottom with 3.1 thousand. And now I've got the microphone turned on, so we're going to hear them in the background. Joe had to leave. I moved Damien over from the 1 seat. He's a really good dealer, so I moved him from the 1 seat to the dealer position. I commend Damien a lot because this is a difficult thing to do. To be the dealer, keep track of the chips, and try to play and concentrate on your game at the same time is really difficult, and I commend him.
Do you commend him?
I commend him.
Okay, all right. So as long as that's clear. It's like a whole bunch of garbage. Nothing really too solid that I don't think anybody's going to raise with here. Everybody's probably just going to limp.
So you can see with the new dealer, he's I got to train him on telling me what the action is so I can type it in. And Shyla says 6. Jeff makes a 6 joke because 6 and 6 sounds the same. That might have been Joel and not Keith. Very passive play here. We've got 6 players. Everybody limps in. Jeff with a pocket pair.
2 aces, a pocket pair, a king, 2 kings.
6 raises.
And nobody raised pre-flop.
7 and 8 fold. 10 calls. Or 1.
And someone's really going off with the sex jokes.
Because 6 rounds was sex, so that's funny.
Yeah. Okay. 3.
I would almost make a 90s called joke, but those are just as bad.
6 calls.
Now, thankfully, I've got Ryan Newquist standing next to me, and he's going to start doing all the action for me, so I don't have the whole table yelling at me.
Okay.
And Clayton's got the absolute nuts. There's no possible hand that he could lose to.
1 check.
5.3k in the pot. He's got 3.4 left, and he ships it in.
6 fold and 1 fold.
Yeah, this is a 6, not a 9.
That's good enough to take it down.
Taylor's on 6. You don't care if it. Yeah.
And Keith just told another joke that he thought was very funny.
Hilarious. I think he almost turned red.
Right now the blinds are 100, 200 with a 50 ante. Like it says right at the top of your screen.
We have an ace king, a couple of deuces, jack 8 suited.
Now you can see
Lyser's under the gun. Folds, Shanar.
I think it might be Shinar.
Shinar?
I call it Paul. See, he's under the gun plus 1.
And he shipped it to 1.6k, 8 times the big blind. It's a little bit of an overbet.
Well, there's 800 in the pot, and he bet twice as what was in the pot, which, like he said, was an overbet. I'm surprised the 5s got away from it, though.
Even the 10-9 in the with money committed, with 100 in there, even though it's not much. Someone like me who likes to defend their blinds with hands like that because they think that they know what other people have. There's no ace or king on that flop. It's going to be pretty easy to take away from him.
You're all yelling at
There's someone squeaking their chair in the background.
Yeah, I think what's going on is somebody's cleaning up the bartender up at the top is cleaning up the unused tournament tables. Because this is Saturday night at the American Legion. We have a 7 o'clock tournament going to start here in the next hour. So they're getting ready for that.
10 calls. 1 folds. 2 folds. 3 folds.
Now it's a lot smoother because I've got Ryan up there telling me what's going on instead of the whole table yelling at me.
8 calls. 9 checks.
Look at this.
King Jack 8 flop. 2 pair versus top pair.
10 bet 6.
Yep. Paul in the 10 seat is a venue champ in Deer River at noon,
8 folds.
and Becker in the 4 seat is a venue champ at Deer River at 7 o'clock. So these guys play with each other twice a day, every week, for the last 4 or 5 years.
10 bets 8.
King leads out and bets 8. And a smooth call.
Yeah.
He fires another 8.
4 goes all in.
That's a good blocker bet by Paul. into a 5,000 pot, he bets 800.
Any hand that doesn't have a jack,
Yeah.
or I mean, basically, you're looking just to get called by an 8 or a pocket pair. If anybody goes all in over the top with a bet like that, you're pretty sure that they have you.
I think he wants to
They
make
have
sure
you beat.
Gary doesn't fire a bigger bet with a king.
That is well too. Yeah, no hand. The only hand that's ever going to raise you is a jack.
Right. So that's a good blocker bet by Paul. If you look at statistics over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been playing bar poker in northern Minnesota, he is one of the consistently best players at the state tournament where the money gets paid out. I think he's second highest in earnings over the last 5 years.
Huh?
Yeah.
They're both my
Nice little king 10 suited over there. Otherwise, everything is looking pretty abysmal.
It's a lot easier to play when we can see their cards.
Oh yeah.
7 fold, 8 fold. Pretty much.
The monster 7 deuce in the big
He didn't go
blind.
down. I have to leave her.
Now, did Gary just call 200 with king 10 suited?
I think he did.
And then only the blind stayed with him.
He did say that. Check, check.
And it goes check, check. He's got position on two good players. Kevin's a good player. Paul's a good player. They both check to him. He just makes a stab with the best hand and takes it down. Good job, Gary.
Bet that got shot.
Clean out your ears.
Here it goes there.
He was just banking on the backdoor flush coming.
Or the backdoor straight there, or the gut shot straight right there with the queen. He really kept his composure, actually losing with his kings. The last hand before the break to Kevin.
Oh, what?
That's a tough thing to do.
He lost half his stab.
Once you lose a big hand in a lot of tournaments and you lose a good percentage of your chips, it's hard to maintain yourself and not want to just chip all in on any pair or anything that you catch just to try to get back up to that point because
Well, he's still sitting at 5,000, which is like 25 big blinds, so he's in good shape. But when you go from 12 to 5, it feels like you're short stacked.
yep.
No, they.
Action's on 2 and you fold.
Looks like Clayton's got a nice king queen suited and he just calls.
5 folds, 6 folds, 7 folds, 8 folds.
I think the king queen is a definite raise there in my book.
He's early positioned under the gun +1. That's what the +1 means next to his stack size. There's small blind, big blind, under the gun +1, +2, +3, +4, hijack, cutoff, dealer.
And now he can't even bet his king because everybody else checked. If he would have raised pre-flop, he either would have took it all down. It might be good for him since there's a flush draw out there. It's kind of hard to make any kind of call with second pair.
1 fold. 2 calls.
2 callers?
Yeah.
Well,
Or no, 1 call.
2 players.
Oh,
Oh, now we got the jack of hearts on the turn, giving Clayton the royal draw.
he's got the best hand,
Calls.
the best draw.
Now the flush draw isn't so scary.
4 calls.
The nine's a
Oh,
complete
that's
blank.
dirty.
Oh, nah. I totally missed that.
Becker picks up a
Becker calls with a flush draw, gets runner 2 pair.
Call. 3 calls.
and Clayton sees the bad news.
And he leads out 1,000 to 4,000 pot, and Clayton just has to call him off. Saying,
The way the hand is played, you have to. It could be easy to put him on a flush draw.
Yeah, he knew you missed your flush draw. I call your 1,000 because he didn't put him on the ace at all.
And it's a tactic a lot of people use to bet the river if it's checked to them, and then they completely miss their draws because it's a high. It's a.
Yep.
As far as bluffs go, it's good. It's a good bluff to do because you pick up the pot a good percentage of the time that your opponent doesn't have anything better than second or third pair.
And Clayton did a good job checking to keep the pot small and just pick off the bluff. Because if he leads out there and Gary's got nothing, Gary folds and he doesn't win anything more. If he checks there and Gary checks, he wins with his kings.
Yep.
If he checks and Gary bets, he can pick off a bluff. So I like his check there.
It's a good spot
And
to
Joel
check
wakes
there.
up with 2 aces.
5, 3, and 16.
Raises to 16. 7 times.
6
No,
folds,
8 times the
7
big blind
folds,
again.
9 folds, 10 folds.
We like these old 8x bets here at Under the Gun +2. Early position.
One folds.
And Damien is
He
more
just-
than happy to lay his 4s down.
And Joel shows the aces, and Damien smiles and goes, "Yep."
Everyone.
And Jeffrey tells him I had 8-6.
Jeffrey tells everyone that he has
I
8-6.
had 8-6.
Which
If
is
an 8-8-8 came out, I would have had quads.
completely irrelevant, but you know.
Blinds are up.
Saturday for 120, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for that one. Oh,
Lots of limping going on here. Oh, look at this. Clayton Slack picks up pocket kings in the big blind. My favorite position to pick up any huge pair.
5 calls, 6 folds.
A lot of people like having hands like that on the button, but I'd rather have them in the big blind because they're so much more easily disguised. You do run the risk of getting called when you 3-bet with an ace to a pre-flop raiser. When you 3-bet an ace, a lot of times they'll call, and then you're just going to have to let go with your kings if an ace hits on the flop or it's a really coordinated flop.
What do you think about that bet? He's got 5K, and he just ships it pre-flop.
I would definitely not do that.
He's got 4 callers.
You're only going to get called by aces with that kind of bet.
Yeah,
Or
with the-
ace king,
I was
ace
gonna
queen,
say,
perhaps. But
when everybody limps, there's no ace king, there's no queens, there's no hand that's gonna call you. If he had a raise pre-flop, then ship it.
unless someone's trying to get frisky. I'll occasionally limp with a huge pair, but I don't want to ruin them.
The only hand.
Ooh, Jeffrey makes
Unlike Joel, Clayton just mucks and doesn't show him anything.
which is the thing to do. You don't ever
Yeah.
want to give anybody information.
Don't give
even,
him free information.
even if you're just playing at a bar free roll.
Because right now, Jeff is sitting there bummed out that he folded his threes, and he's double guessing himself, thinking, "Man, maybe I should have
He's
called."
sitting there thinking, what if he only had ace king and I was just in
Yeah.
a coin flip situation?
It's a coin
what if
flip,
I would
I
have
got
hit
a
a
short
3 on the
stack.
flop?
Right.
It makes it a lot
So-
easier for your opponents to not be tilted by not showing them your hands especially when you have it.
I agree. Show him a bluff if you're trying to tilt him. Oh, and right away.
Ooh, back-to-back kings.
And here, under the gun, Joel wakes up with ace jack. I think he's going to get some action here.
It raises to 6.
Beautiful. And Keith calls with an ace 3. So now there's some money to win. And since he didn't show his kings, he looks like he's stealing again.
You got Jeffrey with a jack 10.
Do I look like a herb? Holy crap!
Keith makes some jokes about herb.
He said, "Who
Oh,
called
do I
her?"
look like a her? Okay, I thought he said her. But
No, he said, "Who called her?" Pointing at Shyla. Keith called and said, "Do I look like a her?"
And then Clayton wastes no time to ship it all in again. It's not as bad this time shipping.
No, it's a
because
great
there's
thing
a
here
pot.
because
There's a pot build already.
Yep, you've got an extra 1,200 in the pot from Joel betting 6 and Keith calling 6.
There's an
he
extra
just-
1,800 on top of the blinds and innings.
And he just shipped it, so it looks like he's, just playing a good goofball just shoving his cards in, shoving his chips in.
It's looking like he
Joel's
wants
a
to get out of there.
big chip leader right now. Even if he calls and loses, he's still got 10K with the blinds at 1 and 2. So he's
He makes the call with ace jack. Ace 3 can most certainly not come along there.
Keith is bummed out because he folded 2 cards that were suited, and last time he did that, he would have flopped a flush. Watch it come out club, 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 and Keith get up and stomp away
Let's see
again.
what happens. Or even 2, 3, 2, 4, 5? 2, 4, 5.
Or spade.
Oh, it is 3. You can't see the card, so there goes spade, spade.
Oh,
9. Looking for a spade or an ace.
Commercial break.
Crush the kings.
Spade or an ace?
Clayton does not look very happy. Oh, and then there it goes. Kings and 9s.
3 wins.
And we got a pocket pair though. Yeah. I've had a king there.
It's a pretty good dodge there.
Yep, and that puts.
Vaulted him in the chip lead.
Yep.
That might help.
And Joel's down to about 5th place with his 10K.
Well, you hold that big
You didn't say sex, you said pick.
And they're talking about the 6/sex sounds a lot alike, and so we should all laugh about that.
It's pretty hilarious when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Because it's only one letter.
Casual.
There's a difference between 6 and sex. And some people just don't realize how hilarious that is.
There's Brad in the background sporting his MSPT long sleeve tee.
Ooh, look at that beast.
Oh, he just came over and said he went heads up with their son Mike, and Mike won.
Oh, he's probably pissed. He's probably going to go and cry a little bit in the parking lot.
I see problems here. We got Paul with pocket jacks and ace jack with Jeff.
I think Jeffrey's probably going to go all in here.
We got C8 with pocket 8s, and both 8s are dead, so he's drawing to a straight or a flush.
One is going to fold.
Oh, 10 just calls.
Two goes all in for 20.
Jack's just called.
Beautiful, Paul.
Oh, Jeffrey did go all in with the ace
Jeffrey
jack.
ships it. And Paul's...
Pocket 8's 450 to call, have to call.
Yeah, you got to call.
Well, no, I mean he has to call.
Yep.
He can't raise.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, the raise is not an option because it was less than a full bet. It was not a legal bet.
Flop does not help anybody.
I'm not too upset if I'm Anderson right there with
Makes
the 9-6-2
makes
flop.
the 8s. You got a couple of redraws.
Oh, Jack. Now Jeff thinks he just won the hand.
Yep, he's excited. And everybody's drawing dead.
Yep. Little check mark next to Paul's name means he won the hand. And right here I'm telling
Anderson's
Carolyn
thinking-
she's in the shot because she was getting kind of close to
She's
the
got,
table.
Got the Bud Light there, you know. I'm sure she was probably sleeping by the end of the night.
She was in full-on pirate mode.
It'd be a disastrous call with the 8s here. Oh. Typically, when people are betting into a dead pot like that,
They've got you covered.
They've got you crushed. In my experience, I don't do it anymore. I don't call unless I've got the nuts. I'm not calling any bet into a dead pot.
No, 1 down.
Number 2 is down.
Oh, 2 is down. Yeah, not 2 down.
Number 2 is down.
Yeah, I'm out. I had to go. That's cool. That's a good one.
And that vaults Paul into chip lead for 21.5K.
How many chips does
As Jeffrey
what, number 10?
gets
Jeffrey
up
exit in 10th place.
with his bag of Cheetos.
Count your chips.
And I'm sure he'll mention that he really didn't even want to play today.
You don't right now.
You gotta love Jeff.
What do you got, Mark? Did you get that, Eric? 69.50.
Having trouble prying the blinds from Shyla.
Okay, here. Uh, 100. No, that's ball. Yeah. There you go.
Wow, there's a couple good hands.
We got
there.
ace jack, ace
Yeah,
king,
ace,
jack jack.
All in. It was all in.
9 fold.
See, now here's the case where he's got, what does he have, 7K?
7K, yep.
6.97K, and he ships it. He's got a lot of room to work with the blinds 100, 200, but he thinks he just is short stacked because he just lost half his stack. So he just ships it with his ace king.
Yeah, I have to.
And now, what do you do if you're Damien in the one suit
Oh,
with
I think
jacks?
with the guy who just lost a hand like that, you'd probably have to call.
Yeah, you need a
I
crowbar
would-
to
I
get the
would.
cards out of my hand if I'm Damien right now. He's got 4 players behind him. Damien knows. Damien thinks he's the best player at this table. Damien thinks he's the best player at any table, and he doesn't want to flip a coin right now. Even if he puts the guy on ace king, king queen, ace queen, he's flipping a coin. And he doesn't want to do that, and he gets away from it. I'm never folding if I'm Damien right
No.
there. But he thinks he's the best player at the table, and he knows he can outplay these guys. So I see why he folds, but I'm never folding there.
No, not yet. He's thinking about it.
Ace jack. Those are the hands that are.
Ace jack is pretty easy to get away
Yeah,
from. I
it's-
think what he's trying to do is think, should I flip a coin against
Yeah.
pocket tens? You know, because you're way behind aces, kings, queens, jacks, ace, king, ace, queen. You know, you're way behind. He's just thinking, is this guy tilting and shoving with,
Any pocket pair.
pocket sixes? He calls. looks at
Ooh,
the bad
not gonna
news.
like that.
Ace jack. Look at that.
And Damien just kind of grimaces, going, "Yes, I just folded the best hand." But just like magic,
Ooh, there you go.
now
There's
Damien
king.
looks like a genius for folding
Genius.
jacks. Well played, Damien.
Thank you.
Still alive.
I did what Davey told me to do. Freaking ace king.
And Damien's nodding, going, "Yep, that's why I folded jacks.
Oh, yeah.
I know this guy's shipping it with ace king.
Very nice.
And I'm not going to flip a coin because I can outplay him later."
Ended up being a good
And here I'm playing with the Zoom resolution.
In my hands.
hard to.
I do. Yeah, you're. Yeah.
Playing with the cameras.
Eight folds. 9 folds. 10 folds.
We got Clayton with the ace 10.
A lot of aces out there.
3 folds. 4 folds. 5 folds.
See, Clayton plays a little more passively. He just calls with the ace 10 when you saw earlier Kevin 3x with his ace 10. And then called a big bet. Called a 3x 3 bet. Blinds are 1 and 2. He went to 6. Gary went to 18 and he called it.
Instantly.
Yeah, snap called it. Where Clayton with the same hand plays it a little slower
1 fold. 3 folds.
and then gets away from it when he has Keith dominate. Now here's another situation where Keith loses half his stack and just ships it with a 10 jack.
record shows the dealers egging around and get called.
Doesn't say I have to do shit.
Because put a player on the screen.
Let it go.
Yeah, Damien shouldn't be talking right now. Shiloh's thinking. She wasn't seriously thinking about it, but if she had a decision, Damien was telling her she should call because she could put a player out of the tournament. He shouldn't be talking right now.
And I was trying to talk him into
One player per hand.
Player now?
Yeah, and Keith just called him out. He said, "Hey, Damien, one player per hand." You know.
Oh, Fight Club?
No way you're gonna play around the ball.
Yep. Keith is correct here. Everybody should be quiet when there's two players left in the hand. Yeah. Damien was kidding around, but Keith's not happy with it.
Well, you know what I mean.
Table police.
I was making the joke, but it's true. Right?
And Jeffrey from the sideline says he was making a joke. And now, after the Jack 10, Keith wakes up with ace.
A lot of garbage out there. It doesn't look like he's going to get a whole lot of action,
I
though.
don't think so.
Two face cards for the entire table.
I was taken seriously.
I called 6
Five
goals.
called, 6 fold, 7 raised to 1,200.
Yeah.
And Joel folds.
He's 2,200.
8 folds and 5 folds.
2,001.
I'm sure Keith shows the aces.
He raises 2,000 more. Blinds are 100, 200. He raises to 2,200 from the small blind.
It's a sick raise.
The other one, no.
The 11X.
The good old 11X. Last time I used the good old 11X was back in '83.
Eric, we need to have a little chit chat.
I'm 27.
We need to ban somebody from the tournament, from every tournament in northern Minnesota.
Will's not even here. What are you talking about? Will's not even here. What are you talking about? Come on.
And Jeffrey's still hanging around.
Who are you trying to ban, Rosa? Me. Oh, okay. Well, I think we can all agree on that.
Kick me out so I go back down south.
There you go.
Yep.
My grandkids will freaking beat you up.
We got a raise.
Under the gun with the ace jack. Seems to be the hand of the hour that everybody's losing money with.
What's Becker going to do with pocket threes?
Chip it.
800, 4X raise.
So he just calls. I would definitely call with the queen 10. I might even consider 3-betting with the queen 10 in that spot, just because.
Queen 10 suited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if it wasn't suited, it's a good spot to 3-bet because if nobody else has anything like ace king, ace queen,
It's a
pocket
squeeze
queen's
play.
pocket, yeah, it's squeeze play, standard.
Oh, I have to vote.
And he flops a boat, so it would have been very beneficial to raise pre-flop.
Genius.
5 bets.
And he bets the full house.
9 volts.
The only hand that might come along is ace jack with the gut shot. Pocket threes is definitely out with 2 calls.
I don't hate this bet from Joel because if you flop a full house, nobody expects you to bet it.
No. Oh, and then there's the ace.
And that's
glorious.
I'm sorry.
Hello, dealer button.
I know. I get confused.
Now the ace definitely has to feel ahead right now.
Well, Joel just tried to go all in when it wasn't on him.
Really?
Well then.
And now Paul's thinking, what do I do now? Because if I check, then his verbal declaration is binding. What do I want to do? Okay, I check. Okay, I'll
Oh, yeah,
in.
because he checked, yeah.
And now Paul thinks, geez, is that a play? Was he trying to scare me off the pot? I did hit my ace. What do I do now? The 10 beats me.
How much is it? Oh, see. He's got a 5 all in. Oh, no, he's got a 4-3.
This is such a weird situation for Paul.
Pretty weird.
6.
You got to put them on a 10. If you don't put them on a full house, you got to put them on a 10.
But you never know though. Some people ship.
They're queen.
Some people ship a queen. Some people will ship a flush draw, a straight draw. People, I mean, you could have king jack and actually have the straight right now. There's a lot of different things people could ship there with.
And Paul's good enough to get away from it.
Hey, Brad, you want to leave up enough for the 7 o'clock tournament?
But when they try to do it out of position, it's kind of a giveaway that it's a pretty big hand.
Oh, good.
Unless you're thinking reverse.
Reverse. That's usually what gets me when I'm playing.
Yeah. You try to think 3 levels ahead when the guy you're playing with is only on level 1.
And on level 1.
You give him too much credit.
Sorry about dumping. It probably hurt my hand.
There's no ban.
Yeah, that's true.
You keep saying it's sleeping.
Can you hear in the background say they're going to set up for the 7 o'clock tournament upstairs?
But help Eric bring his table down.
Oh, he's got a Superman shirt.
Jeffrey?
One
Mark, really?
Whole lot of not very good hands. See, Anderson probably raise it up. Oh, it's on Acre.
Yep. 6 raise. 800.
Wow.
Shyla raises from 800 with Jack 8.
Nice
Those-
raise, Shiloh, from the
those-
hijack position. I like it.
Those are my kind of raises. I like those. I like raising with
I don't-
mediocre hands in late position.
I don't put that on Shyla at all. That's exactly. I put that on a Kyle raise. I would look you up before I look her up. I'm snap folding when she does that.
5 call. 5 and 6. Yep. And 8. And 8. Yeah, 5, 6.
The deuce 3 calls. The ace 7 suited calls.
And everybody
Shyla
wants to
flies
accept
top
the-
pair.
Shyla.
All in 31 or 4,000. 8 ball.
Pot size.
And it looks like she'll just take it down.
Thank you.
Are you not going to go? She
Unless Joel felt like getting frisky there.
I'm shy, but I don't
Oh, I got Brad? Okay, what was that you were saying about how I have him, whatever, I don't know what the word was.
That was a great story.
He does whatever he wants.
It's my favorite story, Shyla. Tell it again.
Exactly. You have no idea.
Keith enjoyed it.
we kind of got.
And then Clayton with his pocket kings for the 3rd
What is
time.
that? You just get, show me how to get pocket kings like that. I'd like to know how to get pocket kings that many times within an hour.
Clayton's got to be a favorite to win this tournament, getting the hands he's getting. He's a really good player, maybe a little more conservative and passive than I like to see.
12-1. 3 ranges, 12. 4 fold.
But I do like the fact that he only went to 6x, the big blinds instead of the traditional 8.
6x out of the gun, or the 11 in Keith's case.
And when she gets a text from him, it goes,
You mean Damien?
Oh, and Damien's just frustrated. He's like, I know that you know that I know that you know. I got 2 6s. What am I gonna do? I guess. Yeah, he just said if I'm gonna lose it to you. I'm all in.
And of
Clayton
course
shows
he
him the bad
says,
news.
1 call. Or 3 called 1.
That new vibrator thing they have inside that TV.
Deuce 10,
not a very helpful flop.
7.
Close.
Back bars
Ooh.
entertainment
I
tonight.
had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And I commend Damien. Dealing, working with the chips, trying to play. That's probably why he shipped it with pocket 6s when he shouldn't have.
Getting frustrated.
Yeah. You've done it before, where you're trying to deal and play and everything at the same time. It's not easy.
Oh yeah, you get used to it though. They play the home games. You're dealing for 8 hours straight, and still have a winning session. It's taxing.
I actually, I don't mind it, because it makes me focus on the game the whole time.
Exactly. And you usually have something like something going on TV or other distractions, but
Noah?
they pay $50 for an event, a UFC event, and
Not watch it.
totally not watch it while I'm playing poker the entire night. But at least I made money
Brad won't go with me.
most of the time.
You guys think it really
Yeah, I've heard
good.
good.
And
Keith
then
has
I got
Joe.
two red kings instead of the black ones this time.
Four folds.
Is
I
that
used to.
entertainment back by postage?
I think that would be that.
5 calls. 6 calls. 7 raises to 16.
Oh, there we go. We missed you, good old standard 8X.
3 folds.
That's just such a huge bet. I don't understand why everybody's using it.
6 calls.
And they're getting called.
Everybody
That's why.
calls. Well, the previous they haven't. There really hadn't been a whole lot of calls before that. Everybody whiffs that flop except for Shiloh, and it's bottom pair.
5 folds.
Another reason I think they might be doing such big raises is because everybody's deep stacked with small blinds.
Yeah.
We got to the final table fairly quickly. It was a really aggressive start to the tournament, and I think we were at the final table in the first, I think on level 4. After 2 hours, we were at the final table, and so the blinds were really low and the chip stacks were really deep. So it makes more sense. And now, what's Shiloh thinking? I got bottom pair with an ace.
Just thinking maybe he had ace king and raised it and just shoved on the flop for no reason. That's what I always tend to think when people ship like that.
Right. That's not a bad thinking. And then she's going, well, I actually did hit a piece of it. If he's got ace king, ace queen, ace jack, which we've seen him play, she does get away from it. And then he shows the kings.
It's kind of the same thing.
And then Shiloh gets the warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
Yep, that I did the right thing. I would have liked him to just muck his cards quietly and then have her steamed about thinking she folded the best hand. Keith's up to 10K in 7th place out of the 8 players left.
Clayton's sitting at 21.
I like the cards.
And Damien's busted from the tournament, but he's just going to all-time deal now. So thank you again, Damien.
We commend you.
We commend you, Damien. He's actually...
Good lord. Are there like 17 kings in this
We're
deck?
playing with a pinochle deck. Ace King. Anderson's never getting away from this hand.
6 folds.
Unfortunately for Joel, he's first to act under the gun and raises 6X.
He's looking. He's dead to 2 aces.
Mark
in the
Anderson
deck.
raises 13.1K.
Labels all in with the bigger stack. 4 folds. 5 folds. 4 folds.
Aker gets out of the way with the 7.
We got
So
them covered.
Yeah, I'm surprised he did that. That was good.
Pocket kings again.
Pocket king.
You got the black ones on.
he just raises his hands in frustration.
Like, what do I do?
I don't know how I'm supposed to not play those.
I had the red ones last, Dan. He's got the black
Oh, are you kidding me right now?
Oh no, Shiloh would
Oh
have.
man.
If she played her 8-6, she would have had 2 pairs.
Yes.
Why didn't she? That's just
I don't know. Last time I called 8-6 with.
for 13,000 chips. I mean, she definitely should have played 6-8 on the suit.
I don't see why not. It's a really terrible fold on her behalf.
I'm surprised she's even at the venue champ tournament making folds like that pre-flop. It's terrible, Shiloh. Of course you call 6-8 with 3 players in the hand.
All day long.
I should have, right? I just wasn't know.
And Mark Anderson, congratulations for an 8th place finish.
Security check on number 3. I think he's putting them kings up.
Joel just asked for a security check. He says he didn't think Clayton's giving back those kings after every hand.
I thought they had later an 8.
There's Carolyn and Jeffrey.
Unless you played with your
I'm sure they're having a meaningful conversation about
8 is
life.
Dealers on 2.
8 is out and 3 is cheating. Just saying.
Shyla tells a joke that Keith finds is hilarious.
What are the odds of that no plate?
Oh, Ace Jack suited against Queen Queen.
Alright, I'm all in.
Queen.
I was gonna say I see
Oh.
Shyla losing everything.
She
right
just
now.
shifts it.
16 to what? 6?
6.
She's drawn to 2 aces and hearts.
Oh, Keith made a good joke. She has 6.9k.
7 folds.
She's actually got 5.4k. I don't know where Keith's joke was from. Saying she had 6.9.
It's really not a good situation for Ace Jack with all the hands that are out there. Couple hearts. The other queen, you need a queen to make a straight with
Another
Ace Jack.
ace is gone.
Yep. Looking pretty grim.
3 folds, 4 folds, 5 folds.
Paul shows her the bad news.
Jack versus Queen.
And she exits the...
She puts the sweater on over her sweater. Looking for running hearts.
Oh, there's a heart!
9 hearts.
Just an 8.
And then,
Shyla's out in 7th place, or is that 8th place now?
That is 8th place. 7th place.
Oh yeah, we just lost Mark the hand
Yep,
previous.
7th place.
And then there were 6.
And then someone makes a sexist joke, which is also hilarious.
Speechless, Brad.
Brad,
I'd say something.
they're being really mean.
She's speechless, Brad.
Okay,
I'm
Eric.
laughing.
Looks like Brad's about to come down and whoop some ass.
No, but she couldn't even laugh.
That's just too many guys for me.
Oh.
You guys know?
Yeah.
I did it on purpose.
Yeah, I bet you'd be smart.
Keith with the ace king.
Yeah, alright.
Kevin, you can see, doesn't put his cards over the
9 folds.
square, so we don't know what he had.
Mustn't have been good though.
10
Air
folds.
conditioner.
Unfortunately,
3 folds.
Keith has ace king in the big blind, so everybody's just going to fold to him. Joel's
Joel's
going
gonna
to
call.
see it for half price.
6 goes all in.
And why wouldn't you go all in for 10k?
6 just went all
It
in.
was the kid.
6 went all in last time. That's why she
He went outside.
I have a Jack 7 offsuit,
Says
and he
no.
thinks about it.
No, thank you.
Well played, Keith. Don't try to get any value out of your good hands.
Never. Value is the root of all evil.
It's overrated. I just ship it.
I'd much rather pick up the blinds and annies every time that I had a hand. True
Ship
story.
50 big blinds with nobody in the pot except for your small blind. Now, if Joel came in for a raise trying to steal it, yeah, re-steal, but just open ship.
Ace 9 is the crushing favorite. 39% pre-flop. 60-72.
5 folds. 7 calls.
Kevin's a good player. I've played with him a few times at the state tournaments.
7 folds.
He's over from Fertile, plays at the Erickson Smokehouse. I went to Vegas with Kevin, 2011, I think it was.
I don't know.
3 folds. 4 folds. 5 folds, 7 mid cards. Yep.
Not a whole lot of anything going on here.
Yeah.
Just a limp on the button with Ace
9
5,
calls.
which is almost an automatic raise.
I would raise. Folds around to me on the button. I'm going to raise basically without looking.
9 check.
Queen High has got a gut shot. Ace high is still leading. And he's
Seven,
probably going to take this pot away.
12.
Kevin might come along. Not for 12. 12 might be too much.
And folds.
Good fold.
Folds.
Paul was just sitting in there because he was big blind.
And not the court.
Force there.
That were very supportive.
You really run this one?
Clayton wakes up with yet another pocket pair.
After the kings 5 times in a row, I think he might just muck 9s.
5 calls.
It's not good enough.
No.
7 folds. 9 folds.
They all place 9s.
10 calls.
Blinds are 1 and 200. There's 1.1 of the pot. I say he raises to 800. 4x bet.
3 raises 2,000 more.
2,000 more.
2,000. That's close. You're only a little bit off.
I'm
there.
only 1,200 off. Nice raise, Clayton.
10 folds.
And he gets called by a king
It's
10.
called by King 10. It's going to duke it out.
Yeah, ace queen.
Ace
Ace of hearts.
Ace of hearts. Queen of
Queen of
hearts.
hearts. 8 of spades. 3 bets 2,000. 5 calls.
3 fires 2,000 at it. And Joel calls with a gut shot.
Hold up. Hold up. Something.
He's all in. Ace of spades.
Ace of spades.
And he just ships it
2,000.
with King high.
Did,
I don't think Clayton can call here.
No.
41
3 check. Yeah.
Yep.
Unless he
Check.
specifically puts him on an 8.
No, he gave up, though. He checked, and Joel sensed weakness. Good job, Joel. Good job. I mean, Clayton's suspicious, but he's not going to risk 4.6K.
I almost would because the ace came.
It's tough. I don't know if would you check in that situation on the turn? Ace king.
I probably would have checked the flop instead of leading out with the flop. I would have just checked the flop and see what he does.
I like his bet. I was just gonna say I like leading out, and even though the ace hits, the scary board hits, he leads out anyways. I like that. Joel comes along, and then he gives up.
No, you can't really fire another
Right?
show.
Yeah. I don't see any fault in Clayton's play at all on that. I commend Joel for just sensing weakness and shoving it. Good job, Joel.
9 calls.
Yeah. That's why I
10
said the
folds.
last.
3 calls and 4 checks. Check, 4.
No, it wasn't.
9 bets 12. 3 folds, 4 folds.
Another ace high taking it down.
VPIP is voluntarily putting money in pre-flop. You can see Joel has been really active. He's in about 43% of the hands that he plays, while Becker is down at about 26% of the hands that he plays. 4 seconds.
Yep.
Mark's still sitting at the table in the 8th seat, even though he busted about a half hour ago.
He's waiting for his reload, his
Yeah.
second mark, his
He
second
wants to
rack of
re-enter.
chips.
Oh, that is. I didn't mention that before. The 5K guaranteed bounty tournament is a re-entry tournament. So if you win more than one tech tournament entry certificate, you can bust out and re-enter in the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
Clayton bets with the 10-9.
And the 6-2 calls him. He's just, wow, nice call, Gary. Nice continuation bluff, and Gary gives it up. Ace, Jack, Deuce. You've got bottom pair, no kicker, and you pick off his bluff. I like it, Gary. Showing why he's bar champ out of Deer River. And then when Clayton follows up, he has to finally give it away.
Oh yeah.